call the Board of Supervisors meeting together for the month of August, please. And shall we start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody, to our September meeting of the Board of Supervisors of Schuylkill Township. Please ask if anybody, any of the attendees to sign in the meeting. Township Board of Supervisors meetings are being videotaped. Anyone else recording the meeting, which should make the fact known, please. Anybody else videotaping? We have someone over here videotaping. Comments by the audience are going to be on any agenda item will follow completion of the board members' discussion of the topic. That is, that's on the agenda. Please wait to be recognized by the chair and then advance to the microphone and clearly identify yourself. Statements will be held probably to three to 4 minutes, no exceptions. Shout outs from the audience aren't going to be accepted. At the end of the meeting, we'll have public comments of things that aren't on the agenda. If there's something that is very beneficial to the township and you as taxpayers, we'd like to hear them, but it will be after the agenda items. Proposed agenda items are supposed to be submitted to the township manager no later than 12 o'clock on the Wednesday preceding the given board meeting. Late submissions will not be placed on the current agenda but held for a subsequent meeting unless approved by myself. And the reason for that, folks, and I'm sure you agree with this, the rest of my colleagues and myself, we have to be able to read and digest the items that are coming before for a vote. If you can't get them in early enough, we don't have enough time to do it, and it's not doing you, the taxpayers, or you people sitting out here, justice, because we don't have a chance to really look them over and know what's going on. So that's why we have done that. So the very first item that we have this evening is the appointment of a new member to the Board of Supervisors. Kevin Hanforth tendered his resignation, and by state law, we have to, the board is required to interview people and to nominate someone to the board within a 30-day time period. We have been very fortunate, and you people that are watching, or if you get to the webcam, is something I think you should be very knowledgeable of. We are more than proud, myself and the colleagues, of the number of people that you have, that we have, that were confident enough to submit paperwork for us to be nominated as people that were interested in this position. We had 7 people that were interested. All of them were interviewed. They've done very well, very proud of them. I mean, they have the skills. It's too bad we only can nominate one person, and that because all of them did an outstanding job in their interviews. It was a pleasure to talk to them, and we hope that the other people that are not nominated for the person will still consider to be on our commissions, be on our boards, and be able to work with us and the teamwork that we have. But what I've tried to do is instill in this board is we're a team of colleagues. We're a group of people that's supposed to work together. That's very important. Sure, we're going to have differences, but we try to work together as much as possible. But any of you that are sitting in the audience, and I know some of you, of course, and I recognize you, I want to thank you so very much for submitting your paperwork and being interviewed and giving us something to know about you yourselves. So at that time, I would hear an appointment or a nomination for somebody.
I would like to nominate Susan Garrett to fill the vacant seat on our Board of Supervisors.
I will second that motion.
Do I hear any discussion? Okay, the motion's been made, it's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Susan, would you please come forward if you're here?
I, Susan Barrett, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of supervisor in SchBOS Township, Chester County, with fidelity.
Try before me this third day of August.
Great, thank you very much.
She has to sign.
Susan, before you sign that,
She can do it now, afterwards, it's.
oh, okay.
got it all.
Okay, okay. Just checking. G-U, okay. Should I date that?
Sure, it's Garrett, G-U-E-R-E-T-T-E.
Oh, I meant at the October board meeting, right? Okay, I'm sorry,
But
Jim.
Before we conduct any business, Susan should resign now from the planning commission.
From the zoning board.
Zoning board, I'm sorry.
So, yes, I hereby resign from the zoning board of SchBOS Township.
Thank you.
Sorry.
And I just want to thank the board. I'm really looking forward to working with the board, and I appreciate their confidence in me.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you. All right, the next item is the conditional use hearing of the Phoenixville Area School District demolition of the existing barn. We hope we understand this will be continued to the September meeting per agreement with both the school board and with the Historical Commission.
All right, just so the record is clear, our court reporter is present for conditional use hearing number 2016-1. It is the application of the Phoenixville Area School District to demolish an existing barn under the terms and conditions of the historic preservation section of our zoning ordinance. And we understand that there's been a request for an extension of time for the hearing so that it will be conducted at our September meeting, which will be September 7th. September 7th, 2016, here in this room, beginning at 7 p.m. Under the rules of court and under the MPC, which is the governing law in these matters, when the hearing is opened and continued, there's no need for re-advertising. So there will not be a formal re-advertisement of the date of the continued hearing as would otherwise be required. Was there an official request, Sandy, by the Historic Commission for this extension for the record?
Yes, there was. At our last meeting, the Historical Commission did request that the hearing be continued, and in conjunction with the Phoenixville Area School District, we agreed to that at our meeting, and that we would again commence discussion at our coming up meeting in August on the 15th, and render a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Fagley, I see that you're here, and you agree to the continuance until the September meeting. Is that correct? All right, well then, with that understood, there's no further business to be conducted, and this conditional use hearing will close. So thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next month.
Do we have to make a motion or anything?
There is one thing, I'm sorry. Does the board accept by motion the request for postponement?
Yes.
So-
Yes.
All right, is there a motion and a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
So moved.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you for coming.
Does your wife know that?
All right, we'll move along. Then has everyone read the, okay. I hope that by September that all of you will read the documents on the condition of the barn and such. There's 2 or 3 documents that are here. There's some very interesting issues in this document here, particularly on page 12 and page 14, something to read, take a look at, see where we're at. But it's a good document. It was put out, well-written, such like that. And then we have another one here, which is just a history on barns and such. So I hope you take a look at it. All right, let's get into the minutes for, excuse me, that we had for the township minutes for last month.
That's fine.
I want to make sure that we don't forget, we still have to, the board, we still have to discuss the the crossing guards on the Learning Center. So keep this in your upper part of your mind, because it's going to be something that we're going to have to discuss and talk to, and we'll have to be talking with the school district and such on everything with that. So ensure that you remember that. Jim, did you, there's an item here that you advised the amended definition of the yard be incorporated in the ordinances. Has this been done?
We have a number of items for the ordinance committee to discuss. We're going to be scheduling another meeting, not quite sure when, but soon, and that'll be on it.
I'm going to do that under new business. Okay. Okay? All right, Jim, thanks. Did all of you, we've got a answer from Mr. Keller and Mr. Smith, George Smith. I've talked to Mary about it and such, and there's some more controversy on that we can't do anything about it because it's out of our hands.
Right.
It'll probably be with the DJ, okay, Department of Justice.
Right. Mr. Keller had communicated, I think we can postpone that discussion at this time.
Right, okay. And the other item in our minutes, Chief Fetterman, did you, have you been looking at the Clothier Springs Road and the things to do with there?
Yeah, so far to date, last month we wrote 23 speeding citations and a couple other that were related from people who stopped. So they've been up there, taking part.
Are you satisfied with what you're finding?
Yeah,
Are you going to be having any suggestions at another thing?
no, we're just going to,
Okay.
and we'll go up there and
Okay. All right, those are the only things I had as far as the minutes are concerned. Anybody else have anything on the minutes?
No.
So I'd like a motion to accept the minutes and the acceptance of the department reports, the commission, council reports as posted and received by the Board of Supervisors. Do I
So
have it?
moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, anybody have anything on the 2-minute reports?
I just have one small thing from the Environmental Advisory Council. We're doing a very small cleanup at the Pickering Preserve this Saturday, starting at 8:30, and we're gonna be working in the butterfly garden, and like I said, doing a bit of a small cleanup there. If anyone would like to join us. please do. That's it.
Did you know that we've got the, getting an extension on the time for the grant?
Yes,
Okay, everyone knows that, is aware of that?
right, with the Schuylkill Freedom Trail study.
That's correct. Okay. Anything else? Anybody have anything on the regional planning? Anything, Jim?
The
Yeah.
regional planning agreement was approved at the meeting.
I know, Jim was
I
there.
was at the last meeting.
Thank you for attending, I was away.
Yeah. The immediate agenda item for the committee, the regional committee, was to approve a proposal to get a grant from the county to rewrite the comprehensive plan for the region. And just about all the hurdles have been cleared now. There may be one or two minor things that have to be done by Mr. Thurkoff, who's the consultant, but it's ready to be submitted to the county. And I think he's done a pretty good job in terms of the crafting of this proposal. So that was the main item in the meeting.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
I
Jim.
think one of the things, didn't he say that he sent it to the county for a preview? And then he got it back, and they made a few comments that he cleared up with it, so I think it's in good shape.
Right. It was important to get it completed and edited, if you will, because it was, the final due date was the 31st of this month.
Yeah, and I think he said he was gonna try to hand it in early, once he got everything
Excellent.
together.
And just a final point on this, there were some minor changes that Mr. Thurkoff, in the proposal, that he felt that the committee should approve, and they approved those changes unanimously. So it's pretty much ready to go forward now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks, Jim. All right, let's go to the treasurer for payment of bills and how we're doing in our treasurer.
Okay, thank you, Fred. I'm sorry, I just had to pull it up here. As of July 31st of 2016, we have just over $4 million left in our general fund. And I reviewed all of the bills this afternoon. Everything is in order and ready to be paid. And does anyone have any questions? We're in really good shape. We've expended almost 32% of our budget this year so far, which is
Wow.
fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Really fantastic. So, does anyone have any questions?
Do I hear a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I so move.
I'll second.
All right, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Move on to the to announcements, which I have a number.
Yeah,
Oh.
I have one also when you're finished.
Okay, I'll come to you in just a minute. All of you have read the item to attend. The Board of Supervisors would be attending the ribbon cutting ceremony of the new Sullivan's Bridge at the Valley Forge. I will be going to it,
I'll
by
be
the way.
there.
I plan to attend as well.
Have you let Mary know?
I plan to be there.
Please let Mary know.
I was gonna say, let me know, or let,
Deirdre, no.
yes. So I'm not sure, have you contacted anyone yet? Because I will follow up tomorrow.
I sent you an email.
Yeah, I don't know if you and Fred already signed up, but I haven't heard.
Right, I was away, so I haven't had a chance to respond, but I plan
I'll
to.
take care of it tomorrow.
Okay, some other announcements. These are, some of them are general and some of them are in place right now. One is, anybody playing the Pokemon Go games?
Pokemon, Fred.
Pokemon, okay. You can see I'm not. Anyhow, it's quite dangerous if you're not careful. You can injure yourselves by tripping and falling, going into traffic, a number of things. So all I'm doing is warning anybody that is using it to please be careful. We don't want to have our fire squad or our rescue squad out there picking you up because you're looking for the Pokemon Go.
For those of you familiar with the Heritage Center, we had about 10 people at the Foundry and the Sculpture Garden, and they were fighting over control of the 1871 historic bridge yesterday, is what one of our board members said. It was crazy.
All right, we had the Phoenixville School Districts to close Route 29, State Road in Schuylkill Township between July 25th and August 26th, okay? Between Pothouse Road and Campbell Lane in Schuylkill Township. And then we have another one that's closing it from July 18th to August 26th also. So just be careful, be knowledgeable of all of that.
One more to add to that, Fred.
Okay.
The Route 23 bridge that connects us to East Pikeland
Oh, that's right,
will
yeah.
be closed August 5th to August 15th or 18th, 19th, something like
It's for
that.
9 days.
14th to the 14th. They're just refurbishing underneath. There's some, you know,
With the
some
undercarriage structure?
relatively minor work compared to what they did.
And what's
across
the
Pickering.
dates of that, in that article? Of
What's
the,
that?
the Route 23 to East Pikeland?
Yeah, right there at Township Line Road where
Mm-hmm,
it connects in.
okay. Well, I have one more bit of
Hang on, just a minute.
traffic news.
I'll be coming to you in a minute. Oh, on
Okay.
traffic?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, on traffic.
Unfortunately, the covered bridge in Route 252, which was supposed to have been open in July and then in August,
Yes.
we got news from our Valley Forge Mountain Yahoo group. 252 will be closed until the end of 2016.
What?
That's what the news is. I'm sorry,
That's a bunch of,
Not just the bridge, 252.
that's what the word is, yes.
Maybe they'll give us a Christmas present.
all right, I got some good news, though. The Saturday, August 27th, Saturday, August 27th is the Valley Forge Fire Company Chicken Barbecue. So please support it. It's a great event. Chicken's good, and I'd like to see you all there.
Right, that's at our Pothouse Road station.
Huh?
At the Pothouse Road.
Yes, at the Pot House Road. Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant to mention that. All right, here's some things all everybody should remember now. The zoning hearing board will not convene on August the 3rd or for the month of August. It's usually meetings are at 7:30. They won't be meeting in August. That's the zoning hearing board. Also, the planning commission will not have an August meeting, which is usually August 17th, the third Wednesday at 8 p.m. They will not be meeting in the month of August. So I hope you all remember that. Also, the administration office is going to be closed during Labor Day, Monday, September 5th, in observance of the Labor Day holidays. So try to remember that. And then, are you going to talk about the September meeting up at the Phoenixville Country Club?
Why don't you,
Okay,
well,
all right, that's fine.
We can
I-
do it.
I didn't know if you were going to do it, I'll do it. Okay.
That's all right.
If you have any questions about crime in our community, join the Schuylkill Township Police Department on Thursday, September 15th, which I'll announce again, for a presentation and discussion on all issues or police items that you might be interested in facing our community at 7:30 p.m. at the Phoenixville Country Club. You know we have an outstanding police force, and they are going to explain anything and be able to answer any of your questions. And the last year when they had it, it was outstanding. And I'm sure that it'll be outstanding again. So please save that date for us. Okay, Barbara.
one last one is, this is not bad news, this is good news. The, 2 days before the presentation at the Country Club, the Schuylkill River Heritage Center will be presenting, Adam Levine is an historian with the Water Department in Philadelphia. And so the subject will be the Schuylkill River. It was sometimes slimy, but it has become now sublime. And talking about the changes and the transformation of the river. It should be a very extraordinary presentation. Admission is free, so it's Tuesday, September 13th at 7:30 at the Schuylkill River Heritage Center.
Is the water as bad as the real water?
Pardon me? Real what? Now you know why they used to drink beer all along the river, whether it was Yingling or Ortlieb's or wherever, because the water was so filthy. And we'll find out why.
Okay, thank you very much, Barbara. All right, do we have any legal actions at all whatsoever?
No, Fred, as with last month, there are a number of legal matters pending, but nothing for public discussion. Thank you.
All right, we'll move into old business. Legal matters we just were talking about, and there were none to discuss. Discussion with 842 Phillip Road, property owner regarding construction at 840 Phillips Drive. Uday?
Is it just the one picture? Okay.
He lives up there in the building. We can't get the owner, the people that are building the property up there.
Thank you, Fred. My name is Uday Patankar. I live on 842 East Phillip Drive with my wife, Dr. Patankar. And we've come before you at least 3 times in the last 3 years with regard to our neighbor's construction project. And every time I've come to you, I have found you to be very receptive to my plight, and you've done many things that are very actionable and appropriate, I believe, in that regard. And I continue to look forward to your support and the support as well of the staff, especially Mary Bird, Mark Faulkner, and the township engineer, John Sartor. My coming forward to meet with you and give you a brief presentation is not to discuss what is termed neighbor-to-neighbor issues. I realize and fully am aware that those are issues that I will and can take care of with my neighbor on my own. These issues, however, deal with the construction of a large edifice right next to my property, with which I happen to share a driveway, and a fairly long driveway. I'm happy to note that that particular contractor has a buyer now, and I've been told that he's been given a date of the end of September.
Yeah.
So I think I would be the first one to rejoice at seeing the back of this person at the end of September. However, I think it's very important for all of you to remember that this thing has been going on for 3 years. I looked at my notes in preparation for today's meeting, and I found out that in June of 2013 is when everything started.
Wow.
I agreed with the solicitor that, there's nothing that is in the code anywhere that says, we can force the contractor to build things quickly. We can only force the contractor to build them according to code. Well, here are some of the issues that have come up before me and through me before Mary, as well as Fred, and partly Martha, in the last couple of months. 3 issues of importance. On the 5th of July, the day after the 4th holiday, I found one of the workers peeing on my property from this construction site. And I was livid, and I appropriately went over and talked to this contractor. He was appropriately apologetic. He promised that he will have a porta potty on premises within the next several days. That happened on the 5th of July. Well, I have to report that there is a porta potty there now, but it was installed yesterday.
Oh, my.
So, And nobody in their right mind can tell me that it takes a whole month to rent a porta potty. In spite of, my asking him, and I'm sure the township administration's pushing him, he has seen it fit to take his own time, which is typical of him. I don't know what recourse we have now. Obviously, the porta potty's there. It looks in that picture like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yes, it does.
And I don't know if it's done, purposely to just make me mad again. But I'm not going to get mad because I'm above that. The problem that I see here is that he continues to flaunt township ordinances. Mary told me that by reference, the plumbing code has been taken in by the township after we first found out that we didn't have a way to make him put a porta potty on place.
Oh, my word.
And I just happened to be here for the meeting of the zoning board, which Martha attended. And at the end of the meeting, I said to her, there should be an ordinance change somewhere that allows the township to insist on having a porta potty on a construction site. And to that extent, I forwarded to her a copy of an ordinance from some township called Dingman Township in Pike County, which I Googled and found, that covers such an eventuality. I now find that maybe that ordinance is not necessary because we do have a way to enforce the plumbing code. This man is going to take a mile if you give him an inch. I just want every one of you to be aware, and please instruct the township officials accordingly that at some point in this next 2 or 3 months, he's going to require a use and occupancy permit. And I think it would behoove us to make sure that all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and checked and double-checked, including by the township solicitor. Because I don't want us to be in a situation when this guy is one and done, and we find that he refused to do certain things that were supposed to have been done. Another matter that is very important to me is that he refuses to have regular service from Blazinski. He has a Blazinski dumpster, construction dumpster, which overflows, and then the effluent from that dumpster comes onto my property by wind.
Oh.
And I have made note of that with Mary. Also, my wife found chicken bones on the driveway that are very dangerous to my dog. This kind of thing cannot continue. This is not a neighbor-to-neighbor thing, because all of these things are happening not through the neglect of this new buyer, Dr. Rosenfeld. He's a hand surgeon, I believe, a very reputable one. And I'm looking forward to having him as my neighbor and for us to work together. This kind of a chicanery is being pulled by this contractor who comes in here and literally does whatever he feels like doing, and in the face of all of the regulatory and zoning and building code and other requirements, he continues to do what he wants to do.
Okay.
And the third thing, very quickly, is the continuing erosion control and soil conservation problems. He has excuses after excuses to not do the things that he should have done a long time ago. He's put some kind of a mat now, an erosion control mat, on both sides of both ends of the driveway, the Lacesse end as well as the Bishop end. In my opinion, it should have been done 6, 8 months ago.
Okay, the question I would have on that third question, I understand what you're saying, the first two items. And we have, going to talk to our solicitor in just a minute about those, about the porta potty and, and also about the garbage and such like that. However, your soil erosion, it's the soil erosion that comes down there, and I've driven out there a couple of times. Is that only from your property? I mean, is that have anything to do with your property and the other property because of the new digging and everything? Or-
And so actually, I may be in violation of some Chester County regulation because some of that material is coming from my property where the partial
understand.
driveway was dug.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand because I know the new culvert and this, Gilmore Associates was in there and doing everything. I understand your problem quite well. However, I wonder if it's a combination problem with that contractor plus your place on the soil erosion. The rest of it, I think, is we have to do something about, so.
If I can briefly respond, Uday, and you're familiar with this, the township has sued him. We took him to court, we got a judgment, collected $20,000 or so. He called from a panic settlement somewhere else. The judgment was affecting another property, so we did do that. We cited him on several occasions, and he's paid fines. There were 2 stop work orders that were issued during this time. The problem with the stop work order is it's counterproductive. We want him to finish, tell him that he has to stop to make certain repairs. We've been in constant contact with DEP in Chester County, lodging complaints, and there's only so much we can do. Another stop work order now would not help. We want this guy done as much as you do, but we have been active, and I've been over there twice, and we're doing everything we can. What we don't want to do is take him to court and lose, and there are certain things we can do and certain things we can't do, but we certainly understand your problem, and we'll do everything we can to assist in getting him finished at the end of the month.
Thank you kindly, I appreciate that very much, and I want to congratulate Susan for her new position as a member of the supervisors, and we will miss you on the zoning board, but you've been terrific there as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Uday.
I'm sorry you have to go through all this, it sounds awful.
This is just for the record. I wanted to be here to let you know the ongoing saga of 840 East Phillip Drive.
Wow.
I call it the Garage Mahal, not the Taj Mahal, the Garage Mahal.
Are you gonna throw a party when you get your new neighbor?
I will very gladly.
Oh,
Oh, it's over
it's
here.
over there.
Thank you kindly, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
Uday. All right, let's move on to new business. There's no business to discuss on that part of it. However, I would like to make a motion that we nominate Barbara Cohen to move into the vice chair till December or till the, I don't know, do I hear a second for
I'll
that?
second that.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
So moved. I'd like to make a motion to accept Ira Patel's resignation from the EAC Commission and make Tom Heisey the alternate member of the EAC to a regular member. Do I hear a motion for that?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Terrific.
I'll
Second.
second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
So we now have an opening in our EAC for an alternate member. If anybody's interested.
And just so
Also,
you
the
know.
zoning hearing board.
Yes, and the zoning
And the
hearing
zoning
board.
hearing board, that's right. Tom and Mary Ellen are wonderful neighbors. They're always informing all of us about things in our natural environment. I'm so glad that Tom is involved with Mary Ellen.
Just add to the openings discussion, we've got openings on every one of our committees and commissions. And so, any of those folks that are interested in participating in township affairs, I think you would do well to at least check the website to see what has been going on in these meetings per the minutes that are posted there, so. Just want to add that.
Thanks, Jim. We certainly do need some good people to be on our commissions. The next item is a motion to approve Resolution 2016-21 to renew membership with Central Westmoreland Council of Government for a period of 2 years for purchase of vehicles and equipment.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion on that?
Sure.
Have we gotten an advantage in buying anything through this? Because we've been participating in this for years.
We have been, and it saves us from having to go out to bid for things because the Council of Governments through Westmoreland does all of that for you, so there is a benefit to being with them.
So we've bought some things using them.
Yep, if we're
Like
not buying from CoStars, we get it from here too,
vehicles typically.
vehicles.
Particular. It's similar to, Jim, like in the school district, they have the intermediate unit you can go to, and they have a centralized place, and they contract larger companies. And then they have also state contracts, which you're aware of, that we can go to too. And it helps us a lot because we don't have to go out and bid everywhere and send out RFPs and everything like that, so.
And the price should be lower because it's all about volume.
That's correct, yeah, very much so. All right, I've heard the motion, I had a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, Resolution 2016-22, designating the township manager to give, to sign the Automated Road Light Enforcement Program for project funding agreement.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
Maybe you want to explain.
I hope everybody read the,
Yes.
Yes, it was,
there's a lot of questions in
That's
that,
why I'm
folks.
like,
I know.
thanks, Mary.
it was,
It benefits us to sign it, however, there's a lot of questions. in it.
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Thanks to Mary, she answered my questions too, because I was
The
good.
basic, if I understand it correctly, the basic purpose of this
Yes,
is we've got our eye on the intersection of Pothouse Road and Charlestown Road in terms of controlling traffic better. And apparently we can get a grant from the state.
We got
roughly-
the
Got the
Oh, we got the grant,
We got the grant, $188,000.
right,
So
yeah,
we got the grant,
yeah. So that's 80%, I think, of the total,
right.
right?
So that's where signing this very large document comes into play. It's their standard.
We have to give it back if we don't sign?
We don't get money if we don't sign. So,
Right.
But yes, it is to redo that traffic signal at that intersection.
Mary, I actually had a question about that. For the grant, do we receive the money up front, or is this as we complete things?
As
Okay,
we complete things and it's
Okay.
reimbursement grant.
Quite a bit
okay.
of
I didn't
money,
know if it was
$188,000.
before, during, or after, so it's during.
but there are a
That's
lot of
fine.
questions and
I
stipulations.
prefer those.
Too many, I had too many questions that we might be out of liable. But she said that it'd be better to get this done, so I went ahead and accepted it, or else I would be on it. Okay, we've had the motion and it's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. The motion to adopt ordinance 2016-02, amending chapter 340 Vehicles and Traffic to allow parking on Livingston Street and portion of Wilmar Road. Fortunately, we had our former colleague, Kevin Hanforth, was very instrumental in meeting with these people and talking to them
I did as well,
and
Fred.
such like that. Huh?
I did as well.
I know you,
Okay.
okay, and I know you were there too. So anyhow, it's important that we take part in this and let the people know that we're interested too. Thanks to all of you. Do I hear a motion to accept this?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay. Oh, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
I'm Bambi Saponsky at 1016 Livingston Street, Road, Avenue. It comes through in multiple ways. I appreciate your time. I have learned a valuable lesson that when you want something done, you better start planning way ahead. The red tape, as they say. but all of us really appreciate your time. We appreciate Kevin and Martha for meeting with us separately so that we didn't disturb yet another board meeting. But we really, really appreciate it, and we look for a quiet little community once again, and we just really appreciate everything that you've done and that you've supported us so
Thank you.
well.
Well, and in reference to what you were sharing, you all came and presented things in a factual, objective way to us. It was very comprehensive and understandable, the kind of concerns that you were raising. So, you know, when you come to share things that are of concern, you all did this in a way that was very productive and objective.
Thank
So
you. Well, thank you very, very much.
that helped us to make the decision to try to help you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. My colleagues have any additional business before I move into public
I
participation?
do, I just have one thing that I wanted to say. I wasn't quite sure exactly where to put this in the meeting. I went to an event, I guess it was about a month ago, and the county commissioners were talking about an opiate initiative that they were starting in the county. And I was just kind of curious as to whether our police department was involved with it or anything like that. So I called Chief Fetterman and asked him, do you know anything about this? And he said, well, unless you give me some details, I really don't know anything about it. So I spoke to, I think his first name was Mike Noon, and he is an assistant district attorney. And I said, you know, I went to this event, they were talking about this opiate initiative, and I was wondering if our police department was involved with anything or if anything was going on. And he actually said some really positive things about our police department. And I just wanted to share that with everyone here, that he said that some things that our police department had helped them with, and with the drug enforcement task force, I'm sorry? The drug task force, and there was a recent murder unfortunately in our township, and our police department was very cooperative with them. And he just had really, really, really nice things to say about our police department, and I just wanted to share that with everyone here.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Chief, for all you are doing.
Yes,
I know
thank
that
you.
I had given a history of Phoenixville's Renaissance to 6 classes of 9th graders in the high school, and their assignment was to produce a video talking about that. Well, one young man had to delay his video presentation. Why? Because his girlfriend in 9th grade had committed suicide, having taken a heroin overdose. This was so extraordinary, and when officials at the school district shared with me that the use of this kind of unfortunate stuff is increasing in the suburbs, and that I'm glad that the county has this initiative as well, because this young man was devastated because of this drug overdose, a 9th grader.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. All right, I've opened it up for public participation, please. Yes, sir.
I'm David Faggio with Double Dog Paving. I have 330 Pauling Road. I think you guys, most people are familiar with my ongoing, situation with, originally I was gonna try to have residential, was approved by the board, approved by the zoning, but then, Mr. Brennan came and, put the squash on that in the zoning, at the zoning level. So it was a long time. I was there at that point, $30,000 into this property, so I decided to occupy it myself. I got an approved plan for, to finish the office. I'm almost through that, and then Kim and John called me and said, hey, I see you're paving, because you're gonna need to pave as part of that plan. Can you come to the township and just tell them what you wanna do? And I said, I don't wanna make this a big thing again. I've already lost a lot of time and money. I don't wanna come back and create a problem for myself later. So you guys approved, you said, you don't do land development, great, but we want, John said, well, I think I should inspect. I said, that sounds reasonable, and I pay for that, it's fine. When he came out to watch us pave, he said, you're paving fine, the ADA is compliant, but I need an as-built of the entire property, you know, so just prepare that. And I said, you know, that, I have an approved building plan, I don't,
Can I interject
offer
here
you,
for a
yes.
quick question? I thought the board requested that you provide that plan in lieu of doing land development.
yeah, if you have a, you know, maybe we should refer to the minutes, because, no,
We did.
that's not the way I understand it.
Yeah,
did.
that's exactly what we did.
Okay, so I would have objected, you know, to that. So I prepared a plan.
Well, you
that
didn't
shows-
object to it, you agreed to it,
to have a
to
survey. and
provide a complete
as-built,
plan, that's right.
You know, have topographic, you know, boundaries, stormwater. I mean, I didn't do anything with my stormwater. I'm building the building. I'm fixing an existing office. I think any site that if someone was redoing their basement, any inspector would say, well, you know, we'd like to have a survey of your property for our records. That would be nice to have, but I don't wanna, I mean, it's another $10,000 that I don't wanna spend. And then another month, or 6 months, or 9 months, or whatever that is, once it brings up more, I just wanna move in there. I've spent a lot of money here and here, you know. Mark is a fair guy, the inspector, but let me tell you, you guys aren't easy. I mean, it's not easy to get an approved plan in Schuylkill Township. That's a known fact. All my vendors and engineers agree, it's a high bar. But I'm doing it, but I just don't wanna add on more, you know, criteria. That's all I'm
Okay.
saying.
Let me just answer that if I can briefly. You were required to have a land development plan for the project, and you came in and asked for a waiver of that plan. And as part of that, let me finish.
I don't
As
remember
part-
that needing it. I mean, I have an approved plan. I had an approved plan
Just a
that did
minute.
not include anything about
I'm
land.
not gonna argue with you. You came in and asked for relief by way of waiver. It was granted to you, and as part of that, you agreed to come in and have a plan demonstrating what was there. The local government needs to know where the buildings are, where the parking is, where things are located, for a number of reasons, including fire, ambulance, everything else. So we had to have a plan. And that's all that was asked for, and that's what you promised to give.
Okay, so maybe, again, maybe I'm negligent because I'm not aware of the terminology, but if I had known that it was gonna cost me another $10,000 and months, I mean, I don't have the resources, I'm trying to do this on my own. It's a major project to do, you know, on my own. I just wanna redo the office and use it as an office. It's exactly the same use. I took down buildings and, you know, replaced the existing concrete with asphalt or new concrete. I didn't build anything. I never dug a footing. We didn't build anything here, and yet I have to go to land development and create stormwater, you know, plans, and I don't get that. I don't know how that became. I mean, I understand, John gets paid to
I'd
review
also
plans.
like to clarify that no one's asking you for stormwater management. You are asked to locate inlets. There's a big difference.
Okay, I know, and I know, you know, the money doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm already, that first go-round, when I got, you know, the shaft, that was $30,000. I'm done. I wanna be done with this. I just wanna move in and occupy an existing building that I own and use it for that. It'll be underutilized. If the township's intention is to have this property underutilized, believe me, you got it. I mean, the plan I originally had would have been, you know, what was it, I don't know, 40 homes or so, you know, 40.
Mr. Chairman, question for Mary Lou here. In your opinion, relative to an as-built for this property, how many sheets are we talking about?
One.
Well, I have one. Would you like to pay for it, Jim? I mean, listen, I can see why you would want it. If the township wants to pay for it, I think you should have the whole township surveyed, and this way you know where everybody's property line is. It makes sense. I see why you would want such a thing, but I'm not sure that I'm responsible to, because remember, I have an approved set of plans that was not easy to get, you know, approved.
What are those plans approving you to do? Build a building or do work in a building?
Yes.
It's not the site.
Okay, so what did I do at the site? That I broke the law?
No. There's no plan
Exactly.
showing
So if
what
you
you
point
did
out
at the
something
site.
that I did on the site that I deviated from the law, let's get to it. But if not, I just wanna move in. I mean, I hear what you're saying, you know, maybe he broke the law, I don't know, maybe I'm making drugs in the basement, but I'm not, I just wanna move in there, and I wanna be done with this project.
If I could chime in again on this, my understanding of what you did there is essentially to take buildings down and then pave, right?
That's right.
Right. With the exception of a one or two, certainly the one on Paulings Road, which is the one I think you're
Right.
wanting to occupy.
That's right.
So in terms of building any new buildings, you really didn't do that.
Built nothing.
You improved a building, and maybe another one I don't know about, but for sure one. So the footprints of these buildings are what they were, but there have been some buildings removed. So, you know.
What drew attention to this was, I toured the buildings down with plans. I hoped that they were built on a slab. In other words, I could tear the building down and then use that existing concrete surface. Well, that didn't end up being the case because of elevator pits and different things. It was just too, you know, up and down and footings, and so we took the concrete out and replaced it with asphalt. So it's like, you know, it's just like the church, I said to John, the church across the street, if they did asphalt repairs in their parking lot, do you need an as-built? Do you need a survey? Do you need stormwater? If they remove existing asphalt, replace it with new asphalt?
Mr. Fagioli,
I'm not sure that's
every other citizen who comes in with the same sort of project that you have or proposed, which is taking out buildings and changing locations and changing parking, is required under the law to present a land development plan so that the township knows what's there. The township knows where the buildings are, where things are located. So you came in and asked for relief, you asked for a waiver.
Actually,
And the board, let me
yeah,
finish. The
okay,
board
I will-
granted you a waiver, but in that meeting said, well, you know, we'll waive the obligation to prepare the land development plan, but we need to have an as-built so we know what's there.
okay,
And
thank
you promised to do that, and you haven't done it.
That, I'm gonna disagree with that last statement, that I promised to do, to prepare that, because I wasn't clear about that, and I'd have to see the minutes to see what exactly I agreed to. But, let me say, you're exactly right about changing the plan of the parking. And it was on my plan, and it was approved. So, thanks for that, bringing that up, you know, you're exactly right, I changed the parking, and that is what I did. I'm putting lines down of where they park. And John had input on how wide the stalls should be, done, here, stand. Okay, so that is in the plan, and you're right about that. And if I was doing that, I could see that. I don't normally get, I do asphalt paving and parking lot striping for a living. When we change configuration of this parking lot, no, we don't go to land development. So, then let me go back to saying, you granted me a waiver only because Kim and John sat right here with me and said, just come in so that they know what you're doing. I said, I'm not doing that because I've been through this before with Bill. He'll make a huge deal out of something because he always does. And I said, don't
I'm
draw
about
me
to
in
start
there and
resenting
have
that,
me in there
Mr.
fighting for
Fagioli.
my life in there.
Okay,
And
go
they
ahead.
said, oh no, it'll go easy. It won't be anything like that. Well, it is like that.
Well, you
Okay.
did come in here and you asked for a waiver, and we granted the waiver, and in lieu of granting the waiver, we asked for, what is this document?
Basically.
Development
An
plan.
as-built plan, and you said you would do that.
So, and I prepared a plan with elevations on it, but it's not a survey, and it doesn't include, you know, a storm, which was not mentioned in that meeting. And, you know, this was.
Okay, I think we understand your problem. My question is, let's summarize this thing and wrap it up, because you're wrapping around your tail around the flagpole here. What can we do other than have him submit the plan that we asked him to do? Because I think that we need to help these people to move along and do it, but they have to comply with what we desire too. So what can we do to help him to comply with the least amount of money that is probably going to be necessary to do that? What can we do?
Well, I rely on the engineer, they've already told him what they need, and he won't do it.
Let me ask Mary Lou again. An as-built plan, I don't recall in the ordinances any requirements on this. I just don't know. Does it have to be done by a licensed professional engineer?
Yeah, John has sent him a couple emails outlining exactly what he needs to do, and it needs to be signed and sealed by a PO up.
Did you get those?
So just to,
Hang on, we don't want to hear a lot of diatribe now. Did you get the emails?
Of course I did, that's why I'm
Well,
here.
did you understand them, of what you had to be complied with?
I volunteered to come in here in the very first place. I have a building permit. I don't, there should be nothing on the outside. I let John and Kim make this an issue when it should have never been an issue at all outside. I don't understand why this is gonna draw out my occupancy permit. Another, I'm sure that the review, that I'll spend $1,000 for the review will net something else. Maybe the grades are below sea level or something, and then we'll be back to the drawing board on that. It will never end, and I just want it over with.
Well, I don't want that to
Believe me,
happen.
I'll never come back.
All right, that's enough. We don't want that to happen to you, but we want you to comply with what we need to do, okay? That's where we want to go. Now, in Gilmore's aspect, what, do you think that they just have to do what you've told them to do?
Yes.
Okay. Same with you?
Can I just ask, what's the basis for what you're asking to do? Is that in one of our
Board's
codes?
decision.
It's what?
What was
The
that?
board's decision.
So,
Okay, so it's what you're asking to do is just based on the board's prior
The
decision?
board asked them to prepare the
Yeah.
plan, Gilmore did not. Gilmore told them like an outline of what is required on the plan that the board asked him to do.
what I was gonna ask Mary Lou is a sketch plan that he's basically showing here, pretty up a bit, sufficient?
I have no idea, I didn't see the plan.
yeah.
Does it, putting it another way, does he have to be a licensed professional engineer to do this?
Wilkerson did this.
In other
Yeah,
words,
well-
if he's showing you what he has done, is
It's
this
a bunch
an
of
example
dots.
of what's been completed?
There's nothing for me to review on there, it's a bunch of dots and some outlines, it's not what John asked for, which is what you asked for.
Well, there's numbers on there, we know that, right? There's numbers on each dot.
What are the numbers?
Elevations.
Okay. Is it property lines, does it meet what John, whatever it is that John asked you to do in an email?
How about this?
Does it meet that?
Let's go back to the minutes, whatever I agreed to, we'll do.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
That's enough.
That's fine.
everybody
That's
agrees.
perfect.
Send me that, Mary. I tried to look up the videos, but they don't load on my
The
computer.
videos are online on our website, and the meeting minutes are online on our website.
Okay, and do you happen to know the date or the
It
month
was
I
the
get?
March 2nd board meeting.
All right. And then I can do this through you, Mary, whatever was agreed to there, because I'm telling you, it wasn't. It wasn't. agreed.
okay.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Peter Mercury, President of the Pickering Glen Homeowners Association. Susan, congratulations. I don't know if you remember, but I sat with you on the zoning board a few years ago, and I'm sure you'll bring a sympathetic ear to this board. And Martha, I will second that about the policemen and the firemen. They are the two best services that we pay for in this township. They're the best. They're the best. As far as we're concerned, I've lived here 15 years, and we have 48 homes in our development. At last month's supervisor meeting, Mr. Morrison commented that Pickering Glen would not get anything by berating the supervisors, and I understand that. Mr. Morrison, our community has been lied to. We've been called guinea pigs by supervisors with respect to maintaining a trail that was installed wrongly twice, 2 times, okay? We have been threatened with liens on our houses, even eminent domain over the school project. And also later to find out that the township made us maintain property wasn't even ours, okay? Live-in property wasn't even ours, but we were told we had to maintain it, okay? And we have not gotten any help from the township, none, okay? So, you know, I find that statement that you made mind-boggling, okay? We came to you at the beginning of the new school project. You said, Fred said, go to the meetings. We all did. We did. I did. I went to all the meetings, okay? Every meeting. One meeting in particular requested that you give us some time to complete our issues with the school. 1 month we needed, okay? But you said no. It was for the kids in the trailers. You guys said no. And we had issues. We had to go through a legal, an attorney, okay? We spent money because we had issues, and the issues are still lingering, okay? Had you given us a month, do you know what leverage is, right? The school district was gung-ho about building this and getting it done with a certain period of time, but with us, you didn't care, okay, about us. And now we're living with skyscraper signs in front of our development. Our landscaping's torn up. We have a hill now that our landscaper claims is going to take two man hours a week to cut. Okay, that's extra money that now we have to pay because we were not able to, you know.
I can think of a couple of items you left out, all right?
Okay.
One is a new fence for you, all right?
No, that's not our fence. That's on Levin's property. It's not our fence.
Doesn't it run up to your entrance?
Nope. It's not on our property.
All right,
With all
Yep.
due
There's
respect.
that, and there's also the removal of the weeds that were encroaching on Pothouse Road. Okay, now it looks pretty darn well cleaned up.
Well, who's gonna
one more
maintain it?
thing, one
Who's
more thing,
supposed to
The entrance, to my eye, is fine. It looks like a cleaned up entrance, and the stop, the light arm, the scutcheon, or whatever you wanna call it, has a stoplight there. That is more attractive because it's black, it sort of blends in with the background. Depending on which way you're coming from, it blends in. You've got an improved situation that you're complaining about.
Are you serious?
I am
Have you
deadly
seen
serious.
the
You've got an
landscaping
improved
around
situation.
that
You're just
that
making
pole?
a mountain out of a molehill.
Excuse me,
You've got to be kidding. See,
You're
that's
making
what
a mountain out
that's
of
what
a
I'm
molehill.
talking
I'd like to
about.
just- I'd
We
like to-
get
I'd
no
like
help
to-
from you.
I'd like to see you.
Jim,
We get no
Like
help,
Jim-
and that's
Jim.
my point.
Yeah.
That is my point, okay?
Pete,
All right,
I need
listen.
to share something with you that.
I'm
you-
speaking. It's my time. I don't
But
want
I
to.
wanted to respond with respect to you in what you said and also that you understand ancient history. Back in 2007, when I was new to the board, Norm Butts as chair and I met with you and went over the cost of replacing your walk because the materials that had been originally used, the moisture was not being absorbed. Please let me finish, okay? And the township compromised in that, even though it was a homeowner trail that was supposed to be maintained by the homeowners, the township contributed to the repaving of that because it hadn't been done properly in the materials used. So please don't say that we never helped you, because the facts are different.
You
We
did not
help you.
help us.
Wasn't it about
It sits on
35,000?
Levin's property. That is Levin's property that you put paving on. You did not help us, okay? You did not help us.
yeah, we did.
That is
Yeah,
true.
yeah, we
did.
did, Pete. Yeah, Pete.
It's on
We
Levin's.
did. We gave.
With the whole
we-
thing,
We
Pete.
equalized the amount
We
of
had to
dollars.
sue the township because Gilmore and Associates screwed up twice.
Instead of their
By the way, we did
Okay.
help you with the land.
That is-
Just let me finish. The paving that you're talking about is maybe 30 feet long or so.
No.
Okay, coming off of Pot House. Now, wait a minute. That paving is there, so the farming equipment that would normally come down your road and go on a right-of-way between two houses no longer has to do that, all right? And so that's an improved situation that I see for the development. So, once again, you're distorting the issue.
No, I'm not distorting anything,
Yes,
Mr.
you are.
Morrison. That entrance is supposed to be for a home, not a tractor.
It's a
There's a
right-of-way.
reason.
It's a right-of-way.
Two homes.
It's a driveway.
It's a driveway for a house. It's a driveway for a house. Look at the plans, okay?
Okay, do you have anything more?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact, okay? We've had, since the beginning, I don't know what you find so funny. It's not funny.
Oh, I'm
It's
not
serious,
laughing. I'm not
okay?
laughing at you.
We're still dealing with these problems, and you laugh, okay? That's not right.
You're taking
That
it,
is not
you're
right.
taking it out of context, Peter. I'm not laughing at you.
You should be in support, okay? with all these things, we were never supposed to have any problems, okay? The school said, oh, you're not going to have any problems. Well, okay, with parking problems, with vendors, okay? We get to call the police, okay? Road closures, all right? Detours. Even a gun aimed at our residents that, thank God the police were there and found the guy that aimed a gun at our residents when we were having a party. And now we have those posts in the middle of our landscaping, okay, of which the school says it's PennDOT's problem. They want us to pay for the landscaping that's all messed up, all of the sprinkler system that they destroyed, okay, right?
So
The
why-
granite
why is it-
curbing.
Why is something that the school district did, why is that something the township has to deal with?
Because you do not support us on anything. You're letting these people get away with murder. You're letting the school district and PennDOT do whatever they like, and we get to pay for it. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But what does that have to do with the township?
You are basically responsible for us as the homeowners. Okay.
No, we're not,
No?
Peter.
Okay.
No, we're
Really?
not.
Really?
No.
Okay. Right?
I don't understand.
What services do we get from you then?
What, police, fire?
Right.
And,
What else?
And how about plowing your roads and paving your roads? How about that?
Really?
In your neighborhood? Yeah,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
about that?
Yeah. When's the last time you paved our neighborhood?
How about when it was built?
The builder did that. The builder did that. Come on. You got to
Are
be
there
kidding
roads
me.
But you know very well that we have a
All right.
maintenance schedule
So,
for our
so,
roads.
so, Mr.
And
Morrison,
that road, and your road is on it.
Mr. Morrison, who is going to maintain those rivers and valleys and manholes now that PennDOT has built and the hill that is established on Pothouse Road? Who's going to maintain that? Who's supposed to maintain
If
it?
it's on your
Do you
property.
care?
If it's on your property, all
Oh,
right,
really?
you maintain it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's on Levin's property, who maintains it?
He's supposed to maintain it.
Oh, really? Are you going to make sure that he does?
Most
Like
definitely.
you did the last time?
I assure you that we will, just as
Really?
we acted very, very proactively with regard to the complaints about the weeds.
Really? And how about the
Yes.
stormwater management? You going to make sure that he takes care of that too?
Well, that's not even
Because-
done yet.
What? Okay.
It's not even
No,
completed yet.
but the stormwater management that was developed in our development is still the same way it was before, and it's got weeds and everything in it, but yet we get called upon all the time to clean up our, all of our stormwater management. That's not the the bottom line is that,
Okay.
again, I've been here for 15 years, and you people come up with all kinds of excuses to help us, and you never have, and you know what? I'm just tired
Don't say
of it.
never,
I'm
Pete.
tired of it.
Remember Norm Butts and I
You have never helped
did.
us, Barbara Cohen.
I'm sorry I didn't
You talk
video
about your
that
architecture. Look at the architecture
All right, let's
we
sum
have
it up.
now,
Come on.
okay? I'm a resident here, and our homeowners, 48 homeowners, right, have paid over $500,000 in taxes a year, right, for property taxes, okay? And what does the school get? The school gets $500,000 for terra floors for little kids, okay? What do we get? We get bills. And you people should do something about that. You people allowed them to come in and destroy everything,
Pete, can I
and now
just
we
say,
have
I'm
to.
going to violate the cardinal rule of trying to, respond to Pete Mercuri. The township was given a plan for approval by the developer, which was the school district. The school district had to comply with all of the requirements in our ordinances, and if they did so, then the township was obligated to approve the plan. Now this, as you know, is not a township project. Township approves numerous projects every year. People who come in. We're not involved after the approval is granted. And we are not an insurance policy for any property owner who has any problem during the development process. The township's obligation under the MPC, under the law, is to approve it if it meets the ordinances. If we don't approve it, then we can get sued and into all kinds of trouble. So we're very careful about reviewing plans and making sure that the developer, not just the school district, but any developer meets the ordinances. In that case, they complied, so the approval was given. Then the project is off into the development process, and the township is, for all intents and purposes, not involved. It's a situation involving public roads that are owned by the state for the most part. We're not involved in that. We don't own them, maintain them, or control them. And the development process, we don't hire the contractors. We don't deal with the contractors. I understand there's a meeting tomorrow morning with the contractors and your people to try to work things out. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
All right. So, you come in and you keep, as they said last week, berating my board for things that they're not involved with. It's not that we're not sympathetic. And I will follow up with two things that Barbara said. With this trail, it was a disaster. But we filed a lawsuit against the developer, and when the suit was settled, for I guess it was $35,000, the township gave all of that money to your board.
Exactly.
And after
But we had to
that,
pay for attorneys
let me
too.
finish, please. And after that, there was another tranche, I think it was $25,000 or $20,000 that was given to your board at your request. Now, this whole problem arises out of stuff that happened a long time ago when this project was built, and the supervisors at that time said, we'd like to have a trail, but we don't want to have the township maintaining it. We don't want we don't want to be responsible. And the homeowners will accept responsibility. If they buy a house, they're going to be responsible to maintain the trail. And that's not unique. It's happened before in this township and elsewhere. Now, your rub, if I recall it correctly, is you were not aware of that when you bought.
But can
Now
I
that's,
make
let me
just
finish.
one
That's not the
comment about
township's,
that?
that's not the township's problem.
There was a lie in there, okay? Levin and Colquitt made their deals outside of that.
Now, can I
Okay,
finish
and
my-
he sat on the board
Can I
and
finish-
voted for it.
Can I finish
okay?
my thought? Okay,
Yeah.
there was another lawsuit where we'll never get thanked for it, but the Levins wanted to develop their property into more houses.
Right.
Township went to court, all the way to the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, basically on behalf of your group, without charging you. We won the case, and now, the Levins are limited to, no further subdivision or land development at that property. And I kept in touch with you throughout the course of the case. I was sending you letters and briefs.
And I was going to testify for you.
You were going to be a witness, exactly.
Right.
So we
That's
were
right.
able to work together in that process, but that's something we tried to do for you, and we were successful. But the real point here, Pete, is that, we're not the school district. We're different. And we're a separate body, and we have separate duties. We're not building the building. We don't run the schools. So you're coming in here, and you're welcome, everybody's welcome, but at some point, Pete, you say the same stuff every week, and, you're going back decades with some of this. Not decades, maybe 10
About
years.
9
with
years
some of
ago,
this.
yeah.
The bills, they're never going to end until you take care of them. You have not taken care of them, okay? There are issues that are still out there. And I sent Mary Bird an email a month ago to try and sit down with you to talk about these issues that are still there. Issues that even the school district, right? We were talking to school district. We spent $30,000 with an attorney. If we didn't, okay, just think of what could have happened, okay? But, more importantly, the stormwater management, okay? It's still an issue.
We're just saying goodbye to Kevin. Sorry to be disrespectful, but he's saying goodbye.
And it's unfortunate that, you had a supervisor that made decisions for us, okay? That lived in the development and that actually made us believe he was one of us, okay? And now we're still living with them, okay? Why do we have to clean up our basins and these guys don't? Why did Levin get away with this? Okay? I'm not going away, okay? I'm not going to move. You have to take care of these issues, okay?
No, we don't.
Tell me something, Bill, and I understand about plans and things. Is a builder allowed to build property inside of the PennDOT right-of-way? Our entrance is smack in the middle of the PennDOT right-of-way. Isn't there supposed to be, this is our property, this is PennDOT right-of-way? The plans state that specifically. That lamp is smack in the middle of PennDOT right-of-way, which is supposed to be on our property.
I would never give a legal opinion without looking at the plans and doing
Okay.
some research, so the answer
Please.
is, I don't know.
Please take a look at that.
You gonna pay me to do it?
No?
Fred, I think
No, believe me.
All right.
Listen,
Peter, we understand.
Let's summarize it, sum it up.
listen, I'm gonna keep coming back,
Okay.
and I'm gonna be stating the same things until you, and I'll sit down with all of you. We'll go over this, and I wanna finalize this, because you know what? There are issues out there with the school. The school is just barreling through. They're bullies, okay? They have done just about everything.
Okay, that's
They
enough.
threatened us, right? And now look what we have. And they blame it on you, and they blame it on the PennDOT right-of-way, okay?
Thank you, Peter.
thank you for sharing your thoughts, Pete.
I'll try not to smile next time, Pete. Sir, just a minute, Pete.
That's why I was
I'm Bill Mertz from Collier Springs Road. Last month, I asked you to put in a speed barrier in front of our area in that region, and I'd like to know what the results
Could you
are.
speak up, sir? I could not hear you clearly.
I'm Bill Mertz from Collier Springs Road. I was here last month saying that they're speeding down my road and banging into my property and into my neighbor's property. It's a major problem. I would like you to slow up the speed. I suggested you have a speed bump. And you said you're going to look into it, you're going to go drive up there, look around, and I'm here to find out what you found out.
Okay, I'll turn this over to Chief Fetterman right now. That's what we put him up there and his police there to check about the speed and the number of cars and such like that. Jim?
You know, we've been up in your area. Unfortunately, where we were sitting before, they sold the property and have kids there, so we can't sit in the driveway anymore.
Jim, can you speak a little louder? Maybe stand up would help.
And then, so we have been up there doing speed. As I reported earlier, we had 23 speeding tickets in the last 2 weeks. And then some other citations that have followed after that. So, I mean, we are up there trying. Unfortunately, we have other roads too we have to maintain. So, I understand where you're coming from.
It's
because,
feasible.
I mean, I've been
Too
up a
narrow.
couple of year accidents.
roadway.
And it's part of the problem up there, the road narrows. And then
People
we have
going
the
too
truck.
fast.
Right.
Very narrow.
So,
So I'm asking for a speed bump. Yeah, it could be a 20 mile an hour, it doesn't have to be a crawl.
Would be-
Okay,
There's somebody soon moved.
all right.
Sorry.
One of the things that, in a separate discussion I had with Bill, that came up here is getting maybe our township engineer to take a look at the situation up there relative to the safety, whether or not a speed bump would increase the safety or decrease the safety, depending on where it's located.
The township roadmaster looked at that area as far as a speed bump. It's not a good place to put it because of the hill. You start
Exactly.
getting snow and ice, and we've got a problem with a speed bump there. So a speed bump or hump is not good for that location.
Why is it a problem?
Well, because I go that way. It's interesting that our roadmaster, I go that way all the time because I need to get to the Wharton Esherick Museum that's right at the crest of that hill on Horseshoe Trail. And in terms of controlling your car on a very narrow roadway, there's no shoulder, there's no yellow line. You can't put with the kind of weather you have when you're ascending a hill like that, you don't want an additional difficulty in getting up a steep incline like that with a speed bump. It doesn't.
Oh, they should go 50 miles an hour, you're saying?
I'm sorry?
You're saying they should go 50 miles an hour to get
No,
up the hill?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying if you're
do.
in second gear and you want to stay in that gear to keep your car steady to ascend, you can't just stop and go forward and have a jerking activity and maintain control of your automobile.
I understand what you're saying. You don't have to stop at a speed bump. You just lower your speed so you can go over it, and people get used to it being there, and they'll go to those speeds.
Well, I would accede to the the professionality of our roadmaster and leave it at that.
What was,
I just
what
have
was,
to, I have to chime back in here on this, which is, Bill's house is a stone's throw from the triangular piece of ground. It's right at the top of Diamond Rock Hill, okay?
Right.
Maybe he's 100 yards or so down Clothier Springs Road. Now, when I say down, by my eye, maybe it drops 3 feet and 100 feet or 200 feet.
more than that, I think.
Does?
Yeah.
To get down to your place?
Yeah,
Okay.
about 20 feet, I believe.
From
Looking at the elevation
the top
line.
there to get down?
Yeah. It's a good drive. They just gun it going down the hill, and banging them in. And they're hitting the other people down the road as well. I'm not the only one. And I hear you in the icy conditions, but our road people are very good. They clean the roads very quickly, and they salt them down. It's not a big problem in that regard. And if people are going fast on an icy road, that's an
It's
accident.
not a question of going fast. It is a question, when you have ice, you don't want to go too slow.
It is a
down to
question of
one
going
speed
faster,
and
he
then-
wouldn't be here.
Pardon me?
That's why he's here. The traffic's going fast.
Yes.
That's
No,
what-
I wasn't saying fast, I was saying steady. You maintain a steady 25 miles an hour and you can get through it.
I have no objection to a 25-mile-an-hour speed bump.
But
But I
you're
want a
missing the
bump that
point.
keeps the speed
When
down.
you're- Okay, I will be polite and say to you in a nice way, please listen to what Mary said, and I drive professionally.
What did
So
the professional
therefore,
say?
I am sharing with you that to maintain a steady speed when you're ascending and on a narrow roadway,
Okay,
a speed bump is not feasible for that location. That's all.
Okay, put half a speed bump in on the downside. You're gonna have your smooth going up.
This,
I don't care if
this is
that's going
something
up.
that
so
our roadmaster has said it's not something that they can maintain, it's not something that he can construct.
Why can't-
And I'm not, I don't know how to build roads. All
I got a fair
all I can
idea.
do is go by the
It's not a good
expertise of someone.
location for a speed
It's-
bump,
Yeah,
Period.
and that's
That's it.
the recommendation
Wait,
from our road crew, from our
Mary,
road chief.
What does
roadmaster.
period mean? I haven't seen no analysis that says it's not feasible.
I have about the speed bump.
Excuse me?
It's not a good location.
Okay.
That's it. That's the argument.
I don't think the argument's valid, but for that matter, you can move the speed bump down a little bit, put it in front of my driveway, so people are slowing up, know they're coming up to it. And the hill isn't as steep right in that area, it's somewhat flat. A little grade, but not too bad, which sort of negates your argument.
okay, all right, we heard you. Mary, would you set up a time with Nick and myself and you to sit down and talk about this, please? Okay? Well, Mr. Mertz, I will look into it and talk to our roadmaster in the area again and see what we can do, and then I'll bring it up to the rest of my colleagues to see
I'd
what
like
we
to
can do.
have something to stop the high speed.
No,
It's
I
a
understand.
Country road, I can't even go to my mailbox.
I understand. I understand. Have Chief Fetterman there too, please. We'll see what we can do to work something out.
By the way, I realize you're our friends and neighbors, and I'm not angry.
I understand. You've been perfectly clear. Thank you very much. All right, Mr. March.
John Moraz of 34 Meadowbrook Lane. I'd like to congratulate Susan for being appointed to the new supervisoryship. I'd also like to thank the supervisors for interviewing me. I was one of the other 6 candidates. But I also have a question about looking at your Township Supervisor's Handbook. It states, any interviews of the candidates or discussions of the qualifications of the applicants must take place in a public meeting. Now, the interview process was done privately. I do take exception to some of the questions that were asked by some of the supervisors, because we know everybody wants to work as a team, but also you have to be independent. That's why I put my name up there. I think I'm independent. You've heard me many times at these meetings. You don't need a yes person. That's why I took the interview. But based upon the
Just a minute, Mr. March. Let me explain something right now.
I think this is
Hang
my
on.
3 minutes.
I'll let you continue in just a minute. I'm going to talk right now. We interviewed you, okay? And it's supposed to be a public meeting. I understand what you're saying. However, if we did it and discussed the people we interviewed with, it would be an executive session. You wouldn't even be involved in that. Let me tell you that right now. And first of all, I will not discuss, in fact, I've told my colleagues this, I would not discuss any personalities and what I thought of you or such, if it was derogatory or positive or such, because I don't think I would want to embarrass the person themselves. And that is how I feel about it, and I think that's the way my colleagues feel about it. We're not going to come out in public to talk about people and discuss the pros and cons, because all of you had pluses and minuses.
Let me just
We have
clarify
4 different people.
One thing, Fred, there were no executive session discussions about
That's
applicants.
correct.
That's right.
We
Your
were
township-
teams, let me just respectfully share information with you, okay? We were teams of 2,
I was there,
which
Barbara.
was within the boundary of the law.
He
So-
knows that. He was
Well,
here.
I'm just saying, I don't want the public to be misinformed or misled.
I don't think they're misinformed.
By the way in which this was conducted.
I'm talking about the supervisor. I was sent this report to review, and it states there, any interviews of the candidates or discussion of the qualifications of the applicants must take place in a public meeting. This is the township supervisor's handbook.
The question is, in my mind, is it in law?
I'll look at it again, I read it. I don't think all the interviews had to be public, we went through that. These
Well,
were-
okay, I'm just bringing this up. Like I said, I was sent this to review. And I understand, you had 7 candidates. You picked the person that you wanted based upon their qualifications. But at the same time, other processes are done by other, public municipalities. I won't name one, but those interviews were done publicly. And the questions were asked to those people, qualifications. And that person then was picked for the qualification. So that's what I was discussing.
When I was appointed, we did it exactly the way we did it with you.
Okay, Martha, I'm just reading what was sent to me that shows the township report here, okay? I'm not sure if all the townships follow this. I don't know if it's a law, if it's not a law. I'm just bringing this up for the public to know. In addition, I attended the most current planning commission meeting, and now tonight,
Thank you.
this is a public meeting. A lot of things were said. It was, one of the people here said it was very important to get started as soon as possible on things that are going to occur in the township. Well, I believe the next 2 large projects that may be happening in this township wasn't even discussed yet. Yes, they went to the planning commission, and they were conceptual information. Well, I attended those meetings, and I think the public should be aware that even though they were invited to the planning commission, there wasn't many people there. So
That's not
now-
our fault.
I understand that, Fred. So I'm bringing this up at the meeting. This is my time to speak. So we have 2 projects that are maybe in the planning stages. Might be 6 months, 9 months coming down to the planning commission. The first one is over at the Voc Tech School or the Cat Pickering Center. 60 acres of property out there, 40 acres are going to be sold or trying to be sold. That will be the next big development for this township. 60, 80 homes, conceptually. The next one is, again, I know this one was brought out at the old National Christian Conference Center, a CCRC development. Again, let the township residents know if they are concerned about this. 500 maybe residents or people to be employed there or living there. The third thing that was talked about at the Planning Commission was the Freedom Trail feasibility study. And I know that was discussed, Barbara, the pet project of everybody here. I just want to let the people know that the cost that people who were not attending could run up to $7 million for a trail. In addition, all the board members attended that planning commission meeting. I've been at 2 to 3 years of school board meetings. I have seen one board member attend one of the meetings over the last 2.5 to 3 years. If you can attend planning commission meetings, everybody, why aren't some of the board members attending a school board meeting? Your real estate taxes, everybody here pays real estate taxes. Why isn't someone from this board going to attend attend one of those meetings on a monthly basis?
Hang on for
Thank you.
hang on for just a minute. there's a meeting held by the township manager and the chairman of the board with the superintendent of schools and the director of operations, Stan Johnson, once a month. We hold that meeting and we go over every single item that, may pertain to Meadowbrook Lane and/or Meadowbrook, and everything about it, and we are aware of what's going on, but no, we don't attend to all of it, which is another thing. I think that I have some knowledge of the school board, being that I was 12 years on the school as a school board director. I think I know similar to what they have. If we went, we would probably have to go not just to the school board meeting itself, we'd have to go to the Building Grounds Committee, because that's where you're going to get your most information that would fit into what we would do here in the township, okay? So I can't say that you're completely true. We do have people that are involved with the school district.
Well, I didn't say involved, I said attend the meetings. If that meeting is held with Mr. Stan Johnson, with Dr. Fagley, and yourself, that's not a public meeting that people attend to. So
It doesn't have to
this
be a public
doesn't,
meeting.
again, we're not talking about sunshine laws here, we're talking about people attending these meetings and not seeing the township supervisor at any of these meetings. Doesn't say much. Barbara, you attend so many meetings a month down at Phoenixville or wherever it is. Jim, you do the same thing. Martha, you do a lot of public work around here in the township and everything. But there comes a time when some of the residents should see a supervisor attend and know what is going on for the
Okay.
public. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate you coming in, and I'll take this under advisement and discuss it with my colleagues to see what we should go for.
And so you know, when we were actively involved in trying to save the 1930s Schuylkill School, I attended building and grounds and school board meetings every month for over 2 years. That's all.
Anybody else? Come forward, please. He's on the sidewalks. He doesn't.
Good evening. My name's Tommy Sahula. I live on 94 North White Horse Road. Congratulations on your appointment. That's good. I would just like to know, since the acceptance of the sidewalk feasibility study the other month, has there been any action on the sidewalks?
No,
We're-
nothing.
We're taking a summer break, all right? We'll probably pick this up in September, in some way.
Okay.
So come to the September meeting.
There's two important things. One is, we really can't move forward without having some idea of whether we can fund this adequately. And the grant monies are very important, so we have to fold that into the discussion. And then we need to discuss priorities. There are 14 sections. We have to discuss, if we're going to do anything, what should be the first thing to do. So, meanwhile, as I say, we're on a sort of a summer break, and
It's a work in progress.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then you had stated that the committees need people on all the committees. Would that include that sidewalk committee?
That's another thing we have to it could, yes, it could. But we need to figure out, I presume we're going to continue the sidewalk committee.
If we start working on engineered plans and that sort of thing, depending on what phase we're doing, yes, we're gonna need to bring the sidewalk committee back in.
Yeah. So,
But I think, as Jim stated very well, we need to make sure what the priorities are, what the costs are, and what grants or feasibility that would be compatible with determining what we want to try to accomplish first.
if you want to be on the committee, I don't personally see a problem with it. So, we'll, if so, we'll put you on our list to, whenever the next meeting's going to be, which we haven't decided anything yet.
We'll let you know 2 weeks in advance if you want to be on the, okay?
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Is there any other public participation? Okay, I'd like to take it to adjourn this SchBOS and go in executive session for litigation and personal matters.
So moved.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All in favor? So moved. We're reconvening the Board of Supervisors meeting now, coming out of executive session that we discussed litigation issues and personal issues, and we have one item that we're going to make a motion on. We make a motion that we appoint Madeline Haverson as the Assistant Township Manager from the 18th of August to the 30th of September.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Do we want to modify that with the interim, or just leave it as assistant?
Well, I thought about that, but since there are dates on either end, it's presupposed that it's interim, but.
Okay.
Either way is okay with me. It's late and I don't care.
Interim sounds good.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved. I have like to have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Welcome.
Thank you very much.